If you want more referrals in your business, there's a good chance that the problem isn't that people don't like you. It's probably not that the clients aren't happy, and it's probably not that nobody wants to help you. The real problem might be a lot simpler. Most business owners are making referrals way too hard. They're asking too vaguely. They ask once and they never bring it up again. And even when someone does want to send them a referral, there's no clear way for them to do it or to track it or to reward the person that's actually helping you. So in this video, I want to talk about the 3 things I would stop doing if I wanted more referrals. And this is for small business owners, solopreneurs, 1099 workers, side hustlers, and your local business entrepreneurs, or anyone trying to grow through relationships instead of just dumping more money into ads. Because referrals can be one of the best ways to grow your business, but only if you stop treating them like random luck. My name is Anthony Markey, and this is I Know a Guy. I've interviewed over 260 business owners, and one thing that I kept hearing over and over again is that almost everybody wants more referrals. Literally every conversation that I have with a business owner, another solopreneur, whether it's at a networking meeting or whether it's, like I said in my interviews, they all ask for referrals. They all want to meet more people. They all want people to work with them. They want to have people talk about them in rooms that they're not in. They want that word of mouth. They want those warm introductions. They want people to say, hey, I know a guy. But when you ask about the referral process, a lot of times it seems like it's just slapped together and it's basically just hope. They hope somebody remembers them. They hope the past customer sends a friend. They hope the person that they met at a networking event thinks of them 3 months, 6 months, a year later. And I get it because I've done the same thing in my own business. Heck, when I first started, I was lucky if I even remembered to ask for a referral. So let's talk about what to stop doing and what to start doing instead. The first thing that you can stop doing immediately is being too vague and asking too big of an ask. This is probably the most common mistake that I've seen. We all say things like, well, if you think of anybody that needs my help, send them my way. Or if you hear of anybody looking, let me know. Or I'm always looking for referrals, so I appreciate anybody that you send to me. And there's nothing wrong with the intention behind that, but the problem is it puts all the work on the other person. Now they have to stop and think, who do I know? Who might be a good fit? What kind of person is a good fit? What is the problem that Anthony solves again? And what would I even say to introduce them? Or how do I introduce them? Is it going to be an email? Is it going to be, a LinkedIn message? How do we do it? And because it takes a lot of that mental energy or there's some obvious friction involved, most people, they just won't do it. They'll put it on the back burner with every intention of referring you, but they're not gonna, right? And it's not because they don't care. It's because the ask was too broad. A vague ask is usually getting you vague results. So instead of saying, send anyone my way, you need to be more specific. For example, if you're a realtor, instead of saying, if you know anyone looking to buy or sell, let me know. You could say something along the lines of, if you know someone who's thinking about moving in the next 6 months because their family's growing and they need a bigger place, I'd love for an introduction. That way it's easier for them to picture that, right? They know that person. If you ask, hey, send anybody my way, I'd love to help them, you're not going to get any introductions. But hey, I'd love to help any, 30 to 40-year-old women teachers, right? We all know that person. That brings somebody to mind. So if you're a photographer, instead of saying, let me know if anybody needs photos, you could say, if you know a business owner who's not updated their headshot in the last 5 years, send them my way. That's specific. That gives people something to listen for. And if you're a bookkeeper, instead of saying, I help businesses with bookkeeping, you might say, if you know a small business owner who is behind on their books or dreading tax season, that's usually somebody that I can help. If you know anybody that's in HVAC, I specialize in helping them, right? People know that person. Now, people know what to look for. So that's the key. The referral ask should make it easy for people to recognize the right person. Not everyone, the right person. A lot of business owners are scared to get specific because they think that it will limit their referrals. But what happens most of the time is actually opposite. When you're too broad, people don't know who to send. When you're specific, people can actually think of that person. So the first thing I would stop doing is just asking vaguely. Don't ask for anyone. We don't know anyone. We all know a someone. Give people a clear picture of who you help, the problem that they have, and why they should think of you. Now, even if you get better at asking, there's another problem. Most people only ask once. And that brings up number 2. Stop asking only once. This one's big because a lot of business owners feel like if they mention referral one time, they did their job. They checked the box. Maybe they even put it at the bottom of their email. Maybe they said it at the end of a sale. Maybe they mentioned it once during a networking group. And then they never bring it up again. But people are busy. Their lives are just as complex as yours. They have their own life. They run their own business. They have their own problems, their own inboxes, their own schedules. Even people who really like you, they're not walking around thinking of you all day and thinking about growing your business. That doesn't mean they don't want to help. That just means that you have to remind them. And that's where a lot of people get uncomfortable. They think reminding people about referrals is pushy. But there's a big difference between being pushy and being clear. Pushy is pressuring someone. Clear is simply reminding people who you help and how they can connect you with someone. For example, instead of only asking for referrals after a sale, you could build a little reminders into your normal business rhythm. You could mention it if somebody gives you a compliment. If a client says, "This was really helpful," you could say, "I really appreciate that." And honestly, if you ever run into another business owner who's dealing with the same thing, those are the exact people that I love helping. That doesn't feel pushy, that feels natural. You can mention it in a follow up email, something like, "Glad we were able to get that taken care of. Also, do you know someone else who's running into the same issues? Feel free to send them my way." Again, it's pretty simple. You can mention it in your newsletter. You can mention it in your social media content. You could bring it up when you're networking. Not every 5 seconds, not in a weird way, but consistently enough that people actually remember you. Trying to stay top of mind with the people that already like you, right? They're not going to find it pushy. They're going to find you pleasant. You really need to focus on being present and pleasant. Because here's the truth, most referrals happen because we're top of mind at the right time. Someone's having a conversation, their friend says, "I'm looking for somebody who does blank." And then boom, they think of you. But if you only mention what you do one time 6 months ago, it's going to make it a little bit harder for them to remember. So you need a little repetition, not an annoying repetition, helpful repetition. You want people to hear what you do, who you help, and what kind of introductions you're looking for, enough that when the opportunity does come up, your name is easy to remember. And that's especially important for new business owners, side hustlers, and solopreneurs, because when you are newer, people may like you, but they may not fully understand what you do yet. So you have to teach them how to refer you. You do that by repeating the right message over time. So number 2 is stop asking only once. One referral ask is not a referral strategy. It's just one ask. Now, the third one might be the most overlooked because even when someone wants to refer you, a lot of businesses accidentally make it harder than it needs to be. The third thing to stop doing is making referrals hard to send or track. That's where a lot of referrals fall apart. Someone wants to help you. They know somebody who'd be a good fit, but then what? Do they text you? Do they email you? Do they send you the person's phone number? Do they tag you on Facebook? Do they fill something out? Do they introduce both of you in a group message? Do they know what information you need? Do they know what happens after you send the referral? And if there's supposed to be some kind of reward, do they know how that works? A lot of times the answer is no. And when that next step is unclear, people hesitate. They might think, "Yeah, I'll do it later. I'm going to put it on the back burner for now," but later turns into never. Or they send you a name with no context, or they tell someone about you, but you never know who sent them. Or someone sends a referral, but there's no follow up, so they never know what happened. And that's where businesses miss opportunities. If you want more referrals, make the process easy. People should know exactly what to do. For example, the easiest way to send me a referral is to use this link, or just send me their name, phone number, and what they need help with. Or even make a quick intro text with me and the person you think that I should meet. The exact method doesn't matter as much as the clarity. The goal is to remove any friction, because the easier it is for somebody to send you a referral, the more likely people are to actually do it. The same thing goes for tracking. If somebody sends you a referral and they never hear anything again, does that feel great? They may wonder, did he reach out? Did it go anywhere? Was it a good fit? Did you actually help? And if there was supposed to be a thank you, a reward of some kind, or a referral bonus, they may wonder about that too. Even if they're not doing it for a reward, people still appreciate knowing what happened. That's why following up matters so much. A simple message like, "Hey, thanks again for sending Sarah my way. We contacted her today and it really went well. I really appreciate you thinking of me." That goes a long way. Something like, "Just wanted to let you know that referral turned into a new client. I really appreciate the introduction." That kind of follow up makes people feel valued. And when they feel valued, they're more likely to refer again. So don't make referrals disappear into a black hole. Make them easy to send, make them easy to track, and make sure the person who helped knows that you appreciate it. So if you want more referrals, here are the 3 things I would stop doing. Number 1, stop asking vaguely. Don't just say, "Send me anyone." Be specific about who you help and what problems they have. Number 2, stop asking only once. People are busy. They need reminders. You have to stay top of mind in a natural, helpful way. Be present and pleasant. Number 3, stop making referrals hard to send or track. Give people a clear next step. Follow up with them. Make sure they know their introduction mattered. Because referrals aren't just something that randomly happens when people like you. Referrals can be built, they can be encouraged, they can be part of the way that your business grows. But you have to make them easier. And honestly, this is the reason that I built I Know a Guy Rewards. After interviewing so many business owners and seeing the same problems over and over and over again, I wanted to create a simple way for businesses to set up referral campaigns, have a clear place for referrals to submit, track what came in, and reward the people who are sending them the opportunities. Because most businesses don't need something overly complicated. They just need a simple system that makes referrals easier for everybody involved. So I'll leave the link in the description if you want to check it out. But whether you use I Know a Guy Rewards, a spreadsheet, a form, a notebook, or some other system, the bigger point is still, don't leave referrals up to hope. Build a process around them. Now, I really want to hear from you. Drop your business in the comments. Tell us what you do, who you help, and what kind of referrals would actually be helpful for you. Because the more specific you are, the easier it is for the right people to think of you. And if this video was helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and follow along. This channel is going to be all about referrals, networking, follow up, relationships, and growing business through real connections. So check out the next video. You might learn a little something. You might make a connection that you wouldn't have otherwise made. And remember, around here, that's the whole point. I know a guy.